The United Nations is warning of unprecedented levels of malnutrition among children in Gaza. They have said that at least 23 children have died from malnutrition or dehydration in recent days. The percentage of children under 2 years old facing acute malnutrition in the north of Gaza has doubled since January. Aid groups have been warning for months now that it is getting harder and harder to get assistance into Gaza as the humanitarian situation becomes more and more catastrophic. They say that there are Israeli restrictions and there's also a breakdown of law and order inside of the enclave. Countries are trying to get assistance in any way that they can. For the first time on Friday, a boat came by sea carrying about 200 tons of assistance that came from Cyprus. It is expected that another boat is being loaded, and if the distribution of this first one goes well, that boat should take off at any moment. There are also countries that are trying to drop aid assistance from the sky into largely the north of Gaza. For the first time on Saturday, Germany dropped 4 tons of assistance. The United States has been doing this already for several days. But aid groups say that food drops from the air are not effective, they're costly, they don't reach the people who need it. I've spoken to people in Gaza who have said that if they find food, it is double the price right now. I spoke to a man, Saeed, in the north. He said that his family members, including himself, have lost more than 10 kilograms of weight and that people are starving. While this humanitarian situation is becoming worse, there are renewed push for ceasefire talks that are ongoing. Egyptian officials have said that they could start as soon as Sunday in Doha. These talks were all but off the table until Hamas put forward a new ceasefire agreement, which would see the end of the war, but it would keep them in control of Gaza. This agreement would be done in 3 phases. Each would be approximately 6 weeks long. The first phase would see some of Israeli troops leave Gaza, more aid would enter Gaza, and people would be able to go back to their homes. There would also be the release of 35 hostages, women, elderly people, and sick people, in exchange for 350 Palestinian prisoners. There would also be 5 female soldier hostages that would be released in exchange for 50 Palestinian prisoners, some of who are serving life sentences. The second phase would see the release of all of the hostages and a complete ceasefire. And the third phase would see Israel withdraw from Gaza, release its hold on the enclave in exchange for the bodies of the hostages who have been killed in reconstruction of Gaza. Hostage negotiators I've spoken to have said that this is a welcome move from before, that Hamas seems more flexible in its demands, and that the fact that Israel is sending a delegation to Qatar means that there is cautious optimism about it moving forward. Sam Mednick with the Associated Press for CGTN in Jerusalem.